Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everyone, welcome to another movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's in a horror movie for kids with me tonight?
This is Raised by Penguins in the Sewer somehow, Joe Butler.
This is Forever Searching for His Parents, Kenneth Sanity.
And this is Blair Farrell from comicbookvideogames.com. And Mike Albertin, why are you dressed up like the Batman?
That was good. Does that... God, I forgot his name again, of the actor.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, does he ever play anyone but Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
That's all he knows how to play, isn't
Well, that's a good question.
Oh, so we are here to cover Batman Returns. It was a Patreon voted episode because we want to do a holiday movie, and I can't believe this is a holiday movie, but it is. Takes place at Christmas, but not really a Christmas movie. Came out in 1992 in June. This is odd, and directed by Tim Burton. Yeah, and it's the second Batman movie, the Tim Burton Michael Keaton stuff, and which ended up falling apart completely in two more movies. So.
Yeah, it's the second, and more importantly, last time Michael Keaton would put on the Batsuit for years. And I really think this movie had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, did he ever put on the Batsuit again, officially?
I mean, he has, but who knows if those movies or scenes will ever come out.
Probably not. My guess is we won't see any of those movies. Maybe Batgirl someday, but everything else is reshot. I'm still not okay with that. But so I hadn't seen this movie in years. I had forgotten majority of this movie, and yeah, I wasn't a fan. I saw it as a kid. I know that. I saw it probably over 10 years ago, and then I just watched it again on HBO Max. And this movie is a Tim Burton movie. That's what I gotta say.
So as a non-Tim Burton fan, would you say you liked or didn't like this movie?
Oh, I didn't like it at all. I hated this movie.
Unbelievable.
I mean, and I loved 89. When we watched 89 for this, God, not that long ago, I really enjoyed Batman 89. I do not enjoy this movie. It's too dark. It's too stupid at times, and it's just, I don't like it. And we'll get into it, but I do not enjoy the way things are portrayed.
I've gone back and forth on this movie for years. I think if you look at it with the idiotic nostalgia critic on the page, like face value, you're going to not have a great time. Like if you honestly think that Catwoman got cat powers from Catwoman licking her, from cats licking Catwoman. But like,
I like your version better.
I watched this again Friday, and I love this movie. I think it has a lot of cool things to say. Like it's somber, and I just love all the characters, even like the Penguin, because like at times it goes a bit too far. But then when I was like thinking about it, and I was like, well, yeah, this is how this person would be. I don't think it's a great representation of those characters, because it's almost just like someone's like, oh, it's Catwoman. She dressed in a catsuit. Like she's not like a thief. But I just love what Catwoman stands for in this movie. And yeah, I'm glad I had that Batmobile toy as a kid. It was great.
Okay, that I do like. I do like some of the stuff with Catwoman, but it's just so fucking weird to me. And like, it is not, I don't like this version of Catwoman at all. But I also am more of this is too far for me away from Batman. Like he, again, like 89, he kills people. He freaking lights a guy on fire in this movie within like the first time we see Batman. He's just like, oh, look, you're going to start fires? I'll light you on fire instead with the Batmobile and drive off. Like, you killed that man, Batman. He's dead. He ain't going to survive that.
No, he was lightly tased away, just like in the game.
Okay. Yeah, They don't survive that either. Nobody surviving any of that. It also is weird to me that the villain is like, okay, so Max Schreck, is he from the comics, or is he just a villain made for, did he just Christopher Walken just act like Christopher Walken?
He was just made for this movie. And to kind of, yes, Christopher Walken plays villainous, I don't know, mall guy, Max Schreck. I do want to point out that Max Schreck is a pretty famous name to horror fans. Max Schreck was the name of the actor who played Count Orlok in the Nosferatu silent movie. One of the actors heavily associated with the Weimar Republic over in Germany.
Oh.
And it's interesting that they use that name for this character, because this whole movie looks like goddamn German expressionism.
Okay, that I wouldn't know. That's that's interesting.
It looked great.
I mean, it has a style that, especially I've still been watching Batman the Animated Series. You can really feel the fact that animated series was, forced to kind of copy this style. Like, you can feel that. And I mean, I like that. I just don't like... Well, also, Max Shrek really reminded me of just a rich Mongol of real estate or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Which is, that's, with an idiot son who will someday take over that company and run it into the ground and owe billions of money. That's just how I saw that.
I can't get over how that actor essentially just was allowed to do a Christopher Walken impression. That's like if you cast Andy Samberg in a movie with Nicolas Cage where he plays his son and he just does his In the Cage with Nicolas Cage impression from SNL.
God,
that was funny that he did the Walken impression because he's like, Dad,
what are you doing? Like, it was wonderful. And fun fact, that particular actor would go on to be on Firefly. He played a mercenary named Crow who worked for crazy old man Adlai Niska.
Oh, okay.
And he also played Leatherface in the, frankly, much better than it should be, 2003 reboot directed by Marcus Nispel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's just, everything with this movie is so strange to me. Like...
Oh, it's bonkers.
It really is. I mean, the circus gang, I guess there's one line that isn't in this movie that is somewhere referenced that the reason why you have all these clowns in the circus gang is because they were inspired by the Joker whenever 89 happened. I don't think that's anywhere in the movie, though.
Probably.
I mean, they were operating long before the Joker because I think when he was going through all the newspaper, it's like, oh, the Triangle Gang found this, like, guy as a kid and put him in the circus freak show.
Which is great. That's what you want for a child. Like aquatic bird boy or something.
So Penguin's also 33 years old in this?
Yeah,
Jesus
that bothered
Christ.
me. Well, I'm 35, so that really bothered me. I'm like, hey now. Getting a little too close.
You know what, though? If you look at that when you're like 33, I think you have issues.
Well, how old was Danny DeVito at the time of this movie?
Danny DeVito was like 40-something, I think.
Dude, how old is Danny DeVito?
I don't know, and honestly, I'm afraid to look.
Yeah, me too.
It's just, I also don't like how ugly the Penguin is in this. I really don't like how they make him like a monster. And just everything with him, I just do not like it. It's just too much for me.
Dude, Danny DeVito's fucking old.
Yeah, Danny DeVito's 78.
He would have been 50... He would have been 48 when this movie came out.
So why didn't they just make it like another... Why 33 years? Like, it could have easily been older, make the guy older. That would have made more... I think it would have... Well, it wouldn't have made much, but it would at least look better. Maybe would have irritated me less. But 33 really bothered me.
It's the weird idea that they're supposed to be like a group of like young gentlemen. And I think it goes throughout the comics too, where they're supposed to be like a hierarchy of families, and all those families have kids, but they're all kinds of different kinds of fucked up. Like, you have the Waynes, and in this movie you eventually find out there's like the Cobblepots, and in later Batman's comics there are all kinds of other people who had kids, but they all end up becoming a bunch of assholes. I think Hush is one of them.
Oh, rich, yeah, Thomas Elliot, but that's just rich. I think rich people can be assholes. You're born into money like that.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of the thrust of the Telltale game, is like him and Oswald like were friends once upon a time.
But that works. It works well in that Telltale game, though, and that's also, it doesn't look like a freaking... I just didn't like how he looks like a monster. It really bothered me in this watching. Like, it upset me.
Tim Burton's fault.
I know. And the damn, like, when he's eating the fish at one point, and he's eating, he's like, here, I brought you a raw fish. Like, here you go. Come on, boy. It's like, come on, you, what the fuck? And the part that really got me is like, so Penguin's wherever his hideout is, he's upstairs, and somehow while he's upstairs, Shrek has brought all these people in, brought in all these tables and set up a whole campaign thing, and Penguin had no idea. They were like, what's all people moving around downstairs? Don't worry about it, boss. Don't worry about it. Like, come on. It bothered me.
Like, that's okay, but his secret lair is something that you could easily see through, like, the zoo. Because, like, you're at the zoo at the end, and Batman just, like, looks down through the window. So, like, they're always there. Not like one person walks by and it's like, hey, there's a penguin guy and, like, an army down there. Maybe we should call the cops or something.
I think the zoo's abandoned.
Oh, what, Ken?
It is an abandoned zoo.
Okay.
Like, that's the thing.
Okay.
Shut down. So, my question, of course, is if the zoo's abandoned, shut down, why the fuck are there still penguins there? More importantly, why does your penguin enclosure attach to the city sewer system?
See, that's my main question. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Not a goddamn bit.
I mean, I do know from watching the Nightmare Before Christmas thing on Movies That Made Us that Tim Burton had free reign in this movie to do whatever the fuck he wanted. And I think that's part of my big problem with this movie is I also don't believe any director should have free reign in most cases. I mean, okay, maybe some, sure. I take that back. Some, but like George Lucas, for example, he had a free reign on the prequel Star Wars, and now look how those turned out. You know, like so you need other people sometimes telling you, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. Not be like, oh yeah, man, yeah, boss, you got it. And that's how I feel with this movie. There was too much Tim Burton being like, I want to make stuff weird. You got it, boss. Like, no, you tell him to stop it.
It's just the nature of the beast, though. It's like you do something, and it makes a studio and a bunch of people very, very rich.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do whatever you want. Like, look at what you did. Like, it happens all the time. Like, I'm just watching the James Cameron press tour for, like, Avatar, where it's just like, I just want to shut him up so bad.
Well, don't worry. When that movie doesn't make $1 billion, I'll shut him up just fine.
Nope, won't, because part 3 is going to come out.
Yeah, and then part 3 won't make $1 billion either. Then you won't see. I'll be into that.
No, it's going to keep happening. It's the movie that nobody wants. Anyway, sorry.
And it's the same thing. Like we talked about Metal Gear Solid 4 a couple of weeks on this show, where it's just like, oh, Hideo Kojima, you made all this money and like all this critical acclaim. Yeah, do whatever you want. Like, and then he's like, okay, but I'm going to go weird. It's like, yeah, well, as long as you make us money, do whatever you want.
I just don't like that because this movie just wasn't. It's not fun for me. It's too dark. It's too weird. And I guess part of it is like I do have a certain way that I see these characters and I like these characters. And you put them in a completely different light that I don't like. But it's just everything that was so strange just really just didn't vibe for me. Like Joker works well in the 89, even though I know it's nothing like the Joker that I know. But I'm like, it's fine. I enjoyed it. Penguin in this is just creepy as fuck. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like this movie's too goth for you.
It was, yes. It was just, I mean, like the part when Penguin bites the guy's nose, he's like, better than a bloody nose. The guy's like, what? Ow. I'm like, oh.
Hey, that's the actor from Wirehead. Show some respect.
Yeah, that part's amazing. So I don't know.
That part didn't bother me. The part afterwards bothered me, where he has like blood dripping from his mouth, and Christopher Walken's like, "Hey, we should like do some stuff," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'd like to fill her void." And he's like, "Penguin, focus." He's like, "I'll show her my French flipper." It's like, Danny DeVito, please turn down your goblin mode, please. I beg of you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of real sexist stuff in this movie too.
See, that was bothering me too. But and that's the thing, when I was watching this, I was just thinking about how this character would be. So, like, Penguin is in the sewers his entire life, and he just has, like, this way of thinking that high society should be, but he doesn't also know how to interact with people. So it's the gross and disgusting, but that's what he is. Like, he was twisted by a life of being, like, taken away from society. And with your point, like, I kind of like how this movie handles, like, mental illness. And, like, that's kind of what Batman's Rogues Gallery are. They maybe not fit this character. Like, more so Catwoman. Like, I love the Bruce Wayne Catwoman stuff. Like, there's a rumor going around that there could have been a Batman Beyond movie where Michael Keaton played Batman and Michelle Pfeiffer possibly could have came back. Whether that's real or not, but God, I would love to see those two again, just living in that big mansion, just being happy with one another. Like, I think they both deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, I like her character more. Another thing I want to say about Penguin, though, it's just like, I mean, because as the movie progresses, you then get the Penguin that I kind of am more familiar with, where he has, you know, he's not wearing the damn onesie anymore, and he's wearing, like, his actual outfit. Like, it was better, but it's just, like, there should have been more of that. Like, when he's running for mayor, and I laugh because the poster is, like, the Penguin from the old, you know, Batman 66 show, essentially. That's what it looks like. It reminds me of. Like, I like stuff like that. Like, I like that. I just didn't... there were just a lot of parts where I'm like, why does the guy have to be in a onesie all the time? Like, that was just stupid to me. No, it really bothered me.
I mean, look, as a big and tall man myself, you know how hard it is to find clothes that fit? You find a onesie that fits, you stick with it.
Yeah, but he's like 3 feet tall though.
Yeah, you find one that sticks and you stick with it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I'll give you that.
But no, I didn't enjoy all, like, there's just so many sexist comments and so much like sexual innuendo that, like, I don't always mind that in movies, but like what we were saying earlier, this was billed as a kids movie. It's like, I mean, I get it, SpongeBob has tons of stuff like that, and I'm not but I don't know, just in this movie it wasn't that hidden, it felt. I'm like, you're not hiding it very well, but maybe just because I'm not a child.
I had Terminator 2 toys when I was a kid, and RoboCop toys as a kid, and Rambo toys as a kid. So, like,
none of those are kids' movies.
My favorite one was the Terminator toy where you could put skin over the model.
Oh my god, that was the best.
Yeah, I mean, toys are toys. I mean, they always do weird shit. So I don't know, it just, there was something about it that just was, like, rubbed me the wrong way with Penguin a lot. I think because I like Penguin as a character and other like, even in the Batman animated series, I like Penguin in there, even though he's based on this to a degree. I still really like that Penguin, and this one is just too much.
I just wish they could have done more. It does go a little bit far, but it's fitting with the character, because I really like when Bruce Wayne is watching him on TV, and that's the thing I like about how, like, the trio is he relates to him because he's like, oh, I want to find my parents, and Bruce lost his, and he's like, I hope he finds what he's looking for. And then with Catwoman, it's someone who is kind of wrestling with two sides of a personality. So, like, the way the trio interplays is, like, really well done. Like, I appreciate this more watching it now than what I've done many times.
Oh yeah.
There's one part of this movie that I love because it's complete, like, movie cinematography bullshit, which is towards the end of the movie. You have Bruce decide to go to the Max Gala, as he puts it, and everyone's wearing masks except for Bruce and Catwoman, and it's supposed to be the idea that they're going as themselves, as their alter egos, because as everyone knows, Bruce is actually Batman and Catwoman is Catwoman's real identity.
Yeah, and that was a good scene. That I enjoyed that film, that film thing. It worked really well to me.
I think more so than Batman 89, what I didn't like about Bruce Wayne in this movie, because he was very aloof in that movie. And in this, he kind of almost, like, is trying to let people know that he's Batman. Like, when he has a meeting with Max Schreck and he's like, I know you're working with these criminals. Like, okay, how would you know that? Like, I guess you're doing your due diligence as, like, a businessman or whatever. And then he's having a conversation with Catwoman where he's like, oh, well, Batman didn't screw up. He did all this stuff and saved all this property damage. And
that part irritated me. Property damage part, I thought that was stupid. I don't know. It shouldn't have bothered me, but it bothered me.
There's a pretty good slip up, though, earlier, too, when he first meets Catwoman. He's like, don't I know you? And she's like, no, because I never met you. He's like, must have been the other me. And they kind of give him a look like, I mean, ignore me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That was kind of cool. I don't know. It's just, he's a terror. Like, this Bruce Wayne is such a freaking idiot, though. Especially in this movie. He just seemed, like, stupid in this movie.
In both of these movies, he can't stop telling people that he's Batman.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of ridiculous. And how can he just rip off his mask?
Yeah, that bothers me a lot.
It's made
of rubber. I don't understand.
Yeah, but, like... No. You know what? I'm going to draw a line in the sand here. No. If that is going to provide him any protection, he should not be able to rip it away like that. That's my...
I mean, does it not come off normally? You're like, hey, I went out tonight. I better rip my mask off. Like, you think it would come off normally, too.
I think there's, like, a whole thing, like a whole process. He's got to, like, get the baby powder out and, like, kind of, lube himself up to get out of it. I don't know.
What that's one thing I don't like about the end, jumping way ahead, is that, like, he does that to Selina to talk her down. But if he had succeeded, then Max Schreck would know that he's Batman, unless he's like, okay, you can't prove it. Like, you don't have a smartphone because it's 1992. Like, So he almost had to die, even though he was trying to make her not kill him. Because if he would have survived, he would have been like, Bruce Wayne, he's Batman.
Now you say that, but are you sure about that? Because Bruce Wayne ripped his mask off, and Max Shreck's first thought was, Bruce, why are you dressed up like Batman? You can't be Batman. So if Catwoman wouldn't have said anything, he would have been like, oh, Bruce was just bought a costume. It's fine.
That was tough.
Who's fucking here?
I mean, yeah, that should be your first question. Why is this guy in a frickin' bat suit underground with me? And all, like, Max Shreck he's a really annoying villain too to me. Like, I mean, it kind of reminded me of there's the animated episode that we talked that I'm hearing this we hadn't talked about yet, but where the Penguin gets tricked, and it kind of reminded me of that same idea.
Yeah.
Where you have a rich guy being like, oh, I'm your friend, but he's not. I mean, like, whole Max Shreck's plan is because my power plant was rejected, so I'm going to replace the mayor with someone who will listen to me, so I can build my power plant that essentially just steals energy. I also don't think that works that way.
So you're saying that the Republican Party wouldn't put some gross, disgusting, short man with bad hair as a part of their party as a way to get what they want?
Oh, they would 100%.
Whoa.
Blair, are you telling me Donald Trump's a fucking Batman villain? Because if he is, I would 100% believe you.
I mean, he does pop like Max Shreck.
He was definitely put there by the Patriots. I'll tell you that much right.
That was a good one.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know, it's just everything with Max Shreck is weird in this. Like, they go to kidnap him, he falls in the sewer, then he just joins them pretty much. Like, I don't know, I just found that kind of funny that it was that quickly. He's like, yep, I'm on your side now. All right.
No, I mean, that's very clearly the flop sweat of somebody who's trying to live, but then is like, wait a minute, mayhaps I can twist this to my advantage. Like, I think originally he's just trying to not die. And when somebody has a flamethrower umbrella shooting off in front of you, that's usually your first thought. You're just like,
and then you already saw like the beginning too, where he's doing this speech and he's like, no, I just want to have world peace wrapped in a nice little bow. Like, that he's good at manipulating people, even though he's a monumental piece of crap.
Mm-hmm. And that hair, though, shit, man. I want my hair to look like that.
Now or when you're 50?
I'll pick now. Now would be cool.
I haven't seen it's been a while since I saw a movie with Christopher Walken, so it's just kind of funny seeing him in a movie again.
No, the last movie I can honestly think of I saw Christopher Walken in was fucking Joe Dirt. So him being silly in that and him being silly in this, it's just like, oh, that's always Christopher Walken. Just one big old weird goofball.
Yeah, he's a weird actor.
I love him. He's great.
I don't care for him.
Y'all should watch The Prophecy.
I did like Selena Kyle. I didn't like we were talking about before, I didn't like how she got her powers. I don't like the fact that she gets pushed off her roof and then gets her powers from that. Like, I didn't really care for that idea.
Well, she doesn't get power. She just has a mental breakdown.
Oh,
like,
okay.
That's the metaphor, is that she's pushed to her absolute limit because she's constantly getting like this world shoved into her face, where it's just like, oh, be good for men, like wear this perfume, and then your boss is going to take you to make you work overtime to a candlelight dinner, and then she just keeps getting stepped on, and then she essentially just has a break. And then like the first thing that she does as Catwoman is like, the woman's getting mugged, and she's like, oh, thank you. And she's like, oh yeah, well, all these people just clamoring for a man to do this themselves. Like, even though she's in like a skin tight outfit, it's like an ultimate feminist icon that's way more progressive than anything that Disney's shoving down our faces.
It's also more progressive than this movie is really trying to be, because like, I also didn't like how they treat Selena Kyle before all that. Like, she's like, well, I have a comment. I mean a question. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, I liked it, but how much she disregarded, like, oh, she makes a good cup of coffee. Like, or it really bothered me when he's like, well, she's not housebroken yet. I'm like, you fucking asshole. Like, I know you're supposed to hate him. He's a villain, but I'm like,
are you
92.
telling me that white men with power and money treat women like crap in businesses?
I know. Yes, they do. I'm pretty sure.
Dude,
What? No.
And then some of them even run for office sometimes. Huh? But God, we're working on it. I mean, I just all the similarities. I mean, I just can't stop with Max Shrek because I feel like that's what they were a joke to in the '90s. Because I mean, wasn't Trump a joke in the '90s too about
Yes.
stuff like that?
In the 90s, he's a joke now.
Well, I know, but like it was more of a joke then because he was just a guy who was just a rich idiot, not the guy who had power at one point. Like he was just a guy. We had money power, but not power over a country.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, I haven't watched a ton of movies from the '90s or especially the '80s that like I should have, but I do know like Trump's in Home Alone and stuff like that, and I do really as of everything I know now, I really did feel like Max Shrek was a joke to him, a reference to him.
It might well be.
It's just like a riff on rich people. It's like
okay,
the two of the things, like two ways to make a character evil in a movie, make them a religious fanatic or a rich asshole.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Or an incel in the case of Penguin.
Yeah.
I don't know, the part when she falls though, and like she gets bit by all the cats, like that was. I was watching some video online when they said the reason, like the way they did that was they put tuna on her. That's why the cats all went to her.
Yep.
Because they're cats. They don't exactly do what you tell them to. Ever.
You know what my favorite weird Michelle Pfeiffer fact in this movie is?
What is that?
That whenever she does her first like burglary as Catwoman and she walks into what's it called?
The department store?
Yeah, and she whips all the heads off the mannequins. That's actually her. They were gonna get like a stunt double, but she actually spent like months trying to learn how to use a whip.
And did it in the first take.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
You can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, that is cool. I mean, I do like the fact that she wears a rubber cat suit and then kind of like cuts it together and staples together. I mean, there's a part of me that like, okay, that I get it. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Now,
but
this is I have a problem with in regards to that costume.
Okay.
We're given an image of Selena Kyle, who is, for lack of a better term, mousy.
Yeah.
Who very much lets the world walk all over her. How the fuck do you expect me to believe that she has that much black patent leather anything in her apartment? I don't buy it.
Well, maybe her boyfriend that she talked to one time that breaks up with her, maybe he was into domination and he had her wear that. I got nothing.
I don't know, man. That dude had big bottom energy, though, for real.
I forget what the message is because there's only just the one message where he's like, oh yeah, I also didn't like how she comes home. She's like, honey, I'm home. Oh yeah, I'm not married. I'm like, did you have to do that to the character? Like, couldn't she just come home and be like, okay, need to do,
And
I don't know. It bothered me.
In the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Where it's just like, oh, you have to be married or whatever.
By 30.
Like,
yeah,
it's a common trope of the time.
Yeah, and that's the important thing to remember. It was a different time. Now, granted, it was like, 30 years ago?
Yeah, it was.
So, like, it wasn't even that long ago, but even the 90s were weird.
Yeah.
They used to wear pants that you could fit a whole person in the legs of, Mike.
Jinko, right? Weren't that the pants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some a little short. I once ripped a good pair of them when I was climbing over a barbed wire fence.
They had pants you could turn into shorts.
I was going to say that. We had Transformer pants.
Transformers, shorts in disguise.
They had pants you could just pull off. They had snaps down the side.
Oh, those were problematic in grades 7 and 8 for me.
Point being, it was a different time. And, like, okay, yes. Was there a lot wrong with this movie? Absolutely. Can you go back and pick every single thing out that is problematic?
Yes.
100%. You could do it easily. We can make an entire podcast, 2 podcast episodes, running at 2 hours apiece about how wrong this movie is.
The main
but
one
that's
being
missing the forest for the trees, man.
Well,
Like-
the way that I always judge everything in this show is whether I enjoyed it or not. And it wasn't the problematic stuff that made me not enjoy the movie. I just didn't enjoy the movie because Penguin looked like a freaking freak and it bothered me. And I wasn't entertained.
it's okay.
I was
no
just
one
like, I turned this off now. That's all I was.
it's okay. No one likes Tim Burton anymore anyway, so it's okay.
Well, I've said on the show many times, I'm not a Tim Burton fan. I mean, I enjoyed 89 because it's not really like, he's involved, but he's not free reign. Where in this movie, he has free reign and I don't like it. So, I mean, that's how I felt with it. Oh, another thing I want to bring up, like with Catwoman, because I did like Catwoman, and I do like the relationship between him and Selena Kyle. I like how, Bruce Wayne likes her, and then they figure out that they're both alter egos when they, repeat a comment they said on the roof. Like, I did like that. I thought that was good. Like, there was some good stuff there. I mean, I didn't really care for the whole thing where she's like, I got 9 lives, I got 7 left. But after what Blair said that, okay, she got mental, she's suffering, like, some trauma disorders and things like that. So, I mean, that works, like, because that's, again, what the Batman Rogue Gallery is. So I'm fine with all that. It was just, I guess I just didn't like, I don't like Catwoman being a villain, but that's a me thing, too.
But she rides the line, though, because, she helps the woman, from the purse snatcher, and then she does want to stop Max Schreck. It's just that she wants to go too far. And, Batman's trying to, pull her back because he knows that, once you go over that line, it's not going to make everything better. I don't think she's inherently a bad guy. It's more of, the whole, anti-hero thing. Even when she's working with Penguin, because she's like, we have to get rid of Batman because he's going to stop me from doing this. And she has second thoughts then, where she's like, oh, I think we're going a bit too far. And then Penguin just, uses his umbrella to make her go fly away.
Where he chokes her. Yeah, that was a little odd too.
Yeah, and the dialogue, I remember that because I finished the other half of this movie last night, or earlier, is that she's like, she tells the Penguin, I thought you said you weren't going to kill her. And he's like, oh, I've changed my mind. And she's kind of pissed off about it too.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, they try to make her a hero type character, but there's a little too much of her being kind of wanting to kill Shrek. I mean, I get it. He deserves it, but I don't know. Just didn't sit right with me at times. Another thing I want to mention about this movie that I felt was just, I mean, I do like the atmosphere looks cool. I mean, I do like that because it's, again, animated series, but it was just too dark, and there also not a lot of Bruce Wayne in this movie, it felt like, either. Michael Keaton is almost always Batman, which is fine, but sometimes I would have liked a little more Bruce Wayne. And I was also confused why they changed up a lot of actors in this too. You have reporters, but you don't have the guy from the first movie. I felt like he should have been there when they were having the reporters talk to Max Schreck.
I think that's the problem with Batman, is that he gets overshadowed by his villains, and people have more fun working with the villains. That's what happens with this, Batman Forever. It's the Jim Carrey show, even though Val Kilmer is a terrific Batman. And even, George Clooney just, it's Batman and Robin. What more can you say?
I've never seen that movie, by the way.
Oh, I can't wait to do that one on the show.
It will be. I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole movie. So, yeah, that'll be my first ever watching when we cover it eventually.
Over, under on whether Mike comes on and says, I had a good time. What are the odds?
It's hard to say.
Money. Who do you love?
I'm going to tell you right now, if you didn't like Batman Returns, I don't think you're going to be entertained by Batman and Robin.
No, I
We'll see.
I highly doubt it. Oh, there's another issue that I had with this movie, or one other thing I want to bring up, with the car. How the hell did they? Because at one point he parks his car, puts the shields up, and then they somehow hack into his car. They take off the shields and fuck up his car, and then put the shields back up. I didn't understand how they got to his car.
Jason Todd was working for them, and
yeah, that's something. It's kind of like this one in Batman '89. It's just, I don't know what it is about these movies where I think about that for a second, but then I just kind of go with it, because there's, again, when we did the Batman '89 episode, I talked about childish realism, and that's all throughout this too. It's because they have the blueprints of the Batmobile, where it's well, where do you get those? Not like you get them from the library, the public records or something. Maybe something where it would have shown how to do that. But also this movie thinks that a CD works like a record, so what do I know?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh god. Okay, one, that part is stupid. At the time in '92, would people have had a lot of CDs at the time?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then I got nothing.
Huge.
See, I was only 5. No, I was born '87, so I wouldn't have been very old. So
get it?
I know.
I understand.
It's supposed to be future tech though, because remember, even though this is the '90s, Batman takes place in the '60s.
Okay, but it's still weird. Why would you? CD doesn't work that way. Okay.
Well, you see, I have a personal idea that in all Batman movies, that Wayne Tech is just complete dog shit, and is not even worth like the equipment it's made out of. Because besides the fact that there are the clown gang uses goblin magic to take apart the Batmobile, and they were going to make it into a hydrogen bomb somehow. You also have a moment where Batman throws a fucking what's probably $1 million batarang for that day and age, and a fucking dog catches it in its mouth and walks away.
I was confused when that happened. Then when it turns out that the whole point of it was to use it to incriminate him by hitting the Ice Princess with it, like I was like, this is just strange. It was just so strange.
I gotta tell you, I may not sound like it, but I'm having a blast. Like just having your brain smooth out while trying to figure this movie out. It's such a joy.
I wasn't drunk enough when I watched this movie. I'm trying to not drink much, so I didn't consume any alcohol. And this is a movie where I wish I was consuming alcohol, lots of it.
Yeah, I blacked out towards the end of the movie. My husband woke me up and he's like, "It's time to go to bed," and I was like, "Okay."
And you know what? You probably enjoyed the movie more than me then, because you didn't.
See, what I'm trying to, and I mean, maybe it's because, like, it's funny because you keep bringing up like a horror movie for kids. Like, I saw this in theater, and like, I don't think I was ever scared. Like, I had tons of Batman Returns toys.
I did too.
And oh no, I lost my train of thought.
No, I mean, you're right. This isn't as much of a horror movie as Nightmare Before Christmas is, because that movie's fucking terrifying. I will die on that hill. This is Halloween Town. Just, ugh. But this movie didn't have that. Like, I completely, am agreeing with that. It's not that. It's just it doesn't feel like a kids movie in any sense. But maybe it's just the '90s were different, and I don't remember the '90s because I was a kid.
Oh, I finally remember it. It came back to me because I think when there's a lot of things I forgive in this movie that are dumb. And I remember when Wonder Woman 84 came out, and a lot of people were like, well, you just kind of have to go with it. And I can't reconcile why I think that movie is one of the worst things to ever happen. Like, that's Amazing Spider-Man 2 levels of franchise killing, but this one I'm okay with. And I think maybe it is because of the time, but like, I do like, as an adult, like as a kid, you're just watching Batman fight these people and not really thinking too much about it. Like, and then I'm going to go to this toy store and buy like the Batman Sky Cycle and Aqua Green Batman. And someone just put in a picture of the chat. I had that penguin toy because they wouldn't make a penguin toy that looked like this one. And I remember reading Wizard because I have a Catwoman toy, and they wouldn't put Catwoman on the back of the box. I had those McDonald's toys too. And I know this is bad radio.
Well, I'm posting pictures of. I went online, which you should have listened to this, and searched Batman Return toys from the '90s to kind of see some of the stuff that I want to talk about. Like the Penguin figure looks like Penguin from the Batman '66 show. It's a big fat guy with a monocle, big nose, and come with an umbrella. Nothing like Danny DeVito in this movie.
They just repainted the Superpowers toy. Like,
is that what it was?
Yeah. They had a Superpowers toy, and he was like blue and yellow, but they just painted him black and red.
Oh.
Those colors that the Penguin famously wears in this movie. Oh, wait.
I mean, I'm okay with because I know this was a movie where they had a ton of Batman toys that were just Batman in different colored suits and different accessories, so I had a few of those.
And there was a Robin toy, too, which is really weird. There's like a Tim Drake-ass Robin toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be in it.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, they cut him out.
He's in the comic.
Oh, okay.
You guys want to hear something weird?
Sure.
If I had a nickel for every time a girl with blonde hair and glasses turned into a Catwoman in the superhero movie, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
What other movie did it happen in?
Wonder Woman 89.
Like 84?
84.
That movie's okay.
Well, that's just the thing. It's the trope of just like, the she's all that, where it takes off the glasses and like, I didn't know you're the hottest girl in the world when you take your glasses off. Like, it's like the Chris Reeve Superman syndrome, where he just like takes off his glasses and sits up straight and he's a completely different person. But that's just amazing acting. Like, rest in peace, Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just looking at all the toys right now. Yeah, because there were a bunch. There was the Robin figure. There was normal Batman stuff, but yeah, they made a lot more toys, and the toys look a lot better than they did in the packaging does in the '89 packaging. Even though it's 3 years later, but it looks way better.
Those were rushed to market. That's 89. Why there's only like 3 toys. Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, I remember it was like because Catwoman wasn't on the back of the toys, and I think like Wizard Magazine had it in an article, and someone was like, "Why isn't Catwoman there?" And they're just like, "Yeah, they did a figure, but they didn't want to put her on the package because they didn't think the boys would want Catwoman." I'm like, I did. She's one of the people in the movie.
That's just
I mean, I
smart.
can kind of.
For much different things.
When I was a kid, I didn't like women toy, like a toy with a female character. I mean, I can say that because like I remember I had a GI Joe and I didn't want it because it was a girl, and I gave it to my dad. I remember it's in a drawer, and it's still in that same drawer in my parents' house. Like stuff like that. I don't know why. I mean, that's just. I mean, I was a kid at this time, but that was my thought pattern. I didn't want to play with a girl.
People like that is a reason why I didn't get an Officer Jenny toy when Bucky O'Hare was on the go. God damn it!
I have Bucky O'Hare toys too somewhere. Never watched that show. Never read the comic. Nothing. But I have figures of that weird ass thing.
Huh. So what's even weird?
Yes. Go.
Oh, real quick. What's even weirder is the Bruce Wayne toy has like a never shown like underneath armor for like the bat suit.
I had that one, the transforming Michael Keaton toy.
That's so weird.
It's weird.
He gets shot a lot in this movie too.
Yeah.
I mean, they shoot him constantly, and it's like every time they shoot him, you think, he's dead. No, he's still alive. Like, but maybe like Blair said earlier, if this takes place in the '60s, they don't know what Kevlar is at the time, so he has something very revolutionary. Where in the '90s, I feel like Kevlar was a much more normal thing.
He gets shot in '89 a lot too.
Yeah, but they shoot him a ton in this movie.
But it's also he gets shot a lot, but somehow I guess it's the one part in his armor that's vulnerable to like household sewing tools.
Because she scratches them.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the other thing too. I think she kind of feels him up to find like a weakness because like I think even though it's years later, but there has to be holes in the armor so we can move, kind of like
Not in the helmet apparently.
Yeah, but what's even weirder is those claws hurt because she probably dunks them in her poop like an actual cat does.
Right.
Well, like there's that part where she falls in cat litter.
Fucking gross.
Cat litter is not soft, and who the fuck is driving a truck full of cat litter? Ooh.
I'm assuming it's sand, and she just calls it kitty litter.
I mean, they do drive around. I mean, maybe in some states they do drive around with a truck full of sand for snowy roads instead of salt. I think that's happened. Yeah, because I used to work at the Mall of America, and you can't put salt down on the structure itself. So we used to drive, and we put sand on a certain area, so we couldn't put salt.
There's a big sand truck in Spider-Man 3, and it's where the Sandman hides. That's going from New York. What the hell are you doing with that much sand in New York?
That's another movie I don't think I've ever seen the whole way through. So
not as bad as what you think.
I hope so. When I rewatch it, I hope so.
Huh?
They're just like another thing about Catwoman I want to bring up is the scene where she finally kills Shrek, where she grabs the freaking Transformers coil and then like kisses him while shocking herself or shocking both of them. Like it's a weird, creepy, cool scene all at once, and I just don't get it. So
it's reminiscent of like the Joy Buzzer in '89.
Yeah, and she does repeat the line, I guess, from the Joker. YouTube was telling me that he says it's somewhere repeated.
What line?
When whatever he says when he shocks the guy, Joker does in '89. That line is repeated in this movie by Catwoman.
Oh, huh.
I can't remember what. I mean, I was watching a YouTube video a little bit before to kind of give me some more information, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. Yeah, it's just one of those.
As far as ways go, I think it's probably one of the better ones of a Batman villain because Max Shrek deserves it.
Yeah.
Like, really deserves it.
I was also confused why he had a gun. He was in the cage, could have just shot the lock off.
No.
He found it underwater because he killed the clown. The clown had a gun, and when he was underwater, he saw the gun and grabbed. Now, why it fired when it was soaking wet? That's another story.
I didn't know that. Oh, it was the clown that. We should talk about their whole idea, or Penguin's idea, after he gets upset, is to capture all the kids and then dunk them in sewage.
I think that was always his plan.
Okay.
Because he's in the Hall of Records and he's like writing down the names.
All right, of all the rich kids. Yeah. I mean, it's not like they were rich kids, but when you see them driving that train around, he's not in exactly a rich area.
All the first ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes all the first ones. And then when he gets mad, he's like, we'll take everybody.
Very biblical. Weird choice.
Did they not hire babysitters?
Apparently not. Apparently all you have to do is just run in the house and grab a kid and leave.
Well, The idea was supposed to be that there are babysitters, but the fact that they wouldn't be home when their kids are taken because they're all out partying because they're a bunch of rich assholes.
Yeah. But the guy was driving a freaking train around town. Like, you don't think somebody would be like, there's a weird train in front of us that are loading kids in cages.
It's Gotham. Shit happens.
Yeah, it's that people know, like the Red Triangle Circus Gang is at large. They're just like, Batman or the cops will deal with it. I ain't going near that train.
It's just weird. It's so weird. It's so Tim Burton, though. This is such a Tim Burton movie.
The beginning of the movie should tell you that.
It does.
I don't even know if you can blame it all on Tim Burton, though. Like, this movie is so messed up. I don't think it's just his fault.
Yeah, I mean, I blame other people too, like, producers and everything. Why? One of the more interesting things too that I want to mention, I mentioned before, but the fact that at the same time he's making this movie, he's supposed to be working on Nightmare Before Christmas, even though he's not really working on it. He's just too busy doing this.
Producer on Nightmare Before Christmas. All right, Henry Selick was the real badass behind that movie.
No, I know he does a good job. It's just funny that it really should be Henry Selick's Nightmare Before Christmas, not Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. So.
Yeah, but you don't put butts in the seats when you put Henry Selick's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Another complaint that I had, which is it's a me complaint, or not really a complaint, but something that I noticed that I wanted to comment on because of the timing, where they're like, oh, Bob Kane made Batman. I'm like, hey, where's Bill Finger? Huh? Where's Bill Finger, guys?
That never got changed until like the past decade, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. It's not that long ago he finally got credit for that.
Oh God.
That's because it's Bill Finger and Bob Kane that made Batman, but I forget what the deal was, that Bob Kane was like in charge, so he just took all the credit or something like that. I don't remember the whole story.
Mike, have you ever seen the College Humor sketch of like Tim Burton pitching a new movie?
No, I don't think so.
You should go look that up because it's exactly your problem with Tim Burton.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up while we're talking.
Danny Elfman, what do you have for music? La 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 la, down 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 down, and like, what colors are we gonna use? Like, black and white stripes. Like, excellent.
Okay, it's not wrong. I mean, it's also a weird thing with all the penguins. How like his whole plan is to have penguins with missiles that are then going to blow up the city, I guess.
So one of the weird things I like about this movie too is that watching this movie made me be like, I think I'm going to go buy me a penguin plushie, because the penguins in this movie are absolutely fucking delightful. Like, they're just kind of there sometimes, empty head, no thought. They're just kind of roaming around the city trying to make their kid happy because, they raised them from when he was a gross child. And then when like the penguin flops in his fucking face, they even like throw him into the water to get eaten by later. Because I'm assuming all those penguins eat meat.
And aren't some of the penguins real and some of them are Stan Winston robots and the real penguins thought the fake penguins were real?
Yeah, because penguins are stupid.
The real penguins actually cuddled up.
Oh, come on, give Stan Winston some credit. This guy's a genius.
Well, no, go look up this thing. There was like, at the zoo in Japan, they had like anime girl penguin girls, and they put them with the penguins, and one of the penguins actually fell in love with one. And like when they took it away, it was so heartbroken it fucking died.
That's because it couldn't believe this beautiful penguin. Like, I've never seen a penguin this beautiful before. Okay. Well, hey, I mean, the way the animal kingdom works, there's always a few dummies. There's the ones that don't run fast enough. I mean, that's how it works. I mean, like, I had mice in my house. When the mice got caught by the cat, I said, well, you were the dumb one. And the other got caught in the trap that I said, but that was a human trap, live trap. So that's like, yeah, okay, I got you. But when you get caught by a cat, you know better. You know what those claws are for. So yeah, same idea. There's just some animals that are just dumb in life.
I think the penguins that have the rockets slapped to their backs are real penguins. And then later on, when they're close to Danny DeVito, they're all robots.
Actually, the ones that are, well, yeah. The big ones that like bring Penguin into the water at the end, those are just little people in costumes.
Not as much.
I'm not kidding.
Real penguins.
Nope.
They look like real penguins.
Nope.
Okay.
Even weirder. Hey guys, we're gonna have Danny DeVito just as the penguin. What's he gonna drive? I don't know. Put him in a big fucking duck.
Like penguins like duck.
My only not complaint with that part, the fact that it was in the zoo, it was one of the rides. He took one of the rides and then converted it into his own car. So I'm okay with that.
That makes sense then.
But like, his whole way to run for mayor was to have one of his gang steal the kid, jump in the sewer, then have the guy go, "Oh no, penguin, don't hurt me," and then give him the kid, and then he brings up the kid. And that was his whole way to get the people's love.
That's a real easy way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I do gotta mention, I do like the part when Christopher Walken is like the Reichstag fire. I got a big kick out of that because I like World War II stuff a lot, and I'm a big history buff with that. And I'm like, yep, because you called it right, because that's what happened. They started their own damn fire and used it to take power. So I liked the fact that he references that.
That's fucked up.
I mean, it's what happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, they supposedly know it wasn't them that started the fire, yeah, huh? It's just because they wrote the books and they burned everything else. So, but yeah,
It
they
was
started
a
their own damn fire.
communist who started the right.
Yeah, the communist that somehow randomly got in the building and got caught immediately. Yeah, it was him.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that Danny DeVito does steal the show, like at the ending, wherever he's. Because I swear, like, they must ad lib some of this shit sometimes. Because he goes in for like an umbrella and he's like, "Oh shit, I got the cute one."
That was
Okay, that was funny.
all right. So I want to talk about the penguin real quick.
Sure, feel free.
Okay, so this penguin is fucking disgusting, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's a sex pest. It's my favorite thing. Look, listeners, you have no idea how long I have been talking about sex pest penguin. Like, it has been multiple months. I have been so excited for this. And yesterday, when I was watching the movie for the second time since we said we were going to record this, I had an epiphany. Danny DeVito's penguin is Frank Reynolds version 1.0. If there are any It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans out there, he plays the same goddamn character on that show as he plays here. He just looks like Danny DeVito on the show. The leering, inappropriate talks, the disgusting attitude, the weird grunt. It's the same fucking character.
I believe that.
Okay. I never watched Always Sunny.
Yeah, I haven't watched it enough. And
Are you
there's
saying-
so much that it intimidates me.
Are you saying that the penguin is also the trash man?
Yeah. Come on. You think that this penguin would not just get in a wrestling ring and just throw garbage all over the place and start eating the trash?
Hey, you flush it, I flaunt it.
Yeah.
That was also dumb.
That was great.
I mean, nobody's flushing down garbage because it would clog up their septic tanks, but that's neither here nor there.
What's
All
the
I
six?
think is that the penguin has a bunch of human shit on his mantle. Because everybody needs a hobby.
Agreed.
The other thing too is it's the 60s or the 90s. I also completely 100% believe people would do shit because between the 60s and the 90s is also a time when they said, "Hey, we just invented the microwave. You can cook anything in it. Need turkey for Thanksgiving? Put it in your microwave. Need eggs for breakfast? Put it in your microwave. Go in your backyard and grab a chicken, cut it up, put it in your microwave."
And then throw up terribly because you didn't cook your food enough. Yeah, that sounds about right, too. I mean, yeah, because they don't understand how microwave works.
Someone needs to make an edit of this movie too. Whenever Michael Keaton goes to put on the bat suit, or when he takes one off the rack, the one behind it has the bat nipples and it says "not ready."
I do.
Were the bat nipples forever, or is that Batman and Robin?
It was
The
forever.
next movie, yeah.
Okay.
They were also in Batman and Robin. Like those nipples were Schumacher specific.
Okay. Oh, and that's the question I want to ask you guys. So did this movie not make enough money then compared to 89?
No,
Oh.
I think it didn't. And I don't think the merchandisers, because I mean, like you posted in our chat, like you had the Happy Meal toys. There was also like Batman Returns cups, as I had those. And there was
Mhm.
probably like a sweepstakes or something. I don't know. There was so much. I mean, just like Batman 89, like my Christmas that year was the Bruce Wayne Batcave, the Bat Missile Batmobile, which is one of the most fun toys. Because like I love the scene where the sides fly off and it's just like the middle, like that's what the toy was. But I don't think it did. It didn't do Batman 89 money. It probably made money, but not 89 money.
It made
So,
266 million off a budget of 50 to 80 million.
Yeah.
Whereas the 89 version had roughly a $35 million budget, but made $411 million.
Plus,
Okay,
like,
so it's
lots
a-
more on like merchandise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a big loss right there. I can
So that's
see
why
that.
they had to bring him a Schumacher to like rein it down.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Batman Forever did bank. Why do you
Huh.
think they invited him back?
Reasons.
Yeah, how'd that work out afterward? The movie that killed the franchise for a while.
Well, this is that weird day and age where and it's still going on too, where even though something makes a good amount of money, it's always a weird thing where it's like, well, if it didn't make more than 3 times the amount of money that we wanted, then it was a fucking failure. We're not making another one. Okay.
That's going to be Avatar. I really feel that.
It's definitely going to be Avatar because James Cameron already said if Avatar doesn't get like 100 million in like the box office, he's not making another one because he's out of budget.
Yeah, well, the third one's already in process, so
yeah, he's I think he's just a fucking liar.
Give the people what they want, Jimmy Cameron. Give them The Abyss on 4K. Give us True Lies on 4K.
Yes, my God.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
True Lies?
Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It's
And it's apparently a pretty good Super Nintendo game that I've never played.
it is.
It has the iconic Jamie Lee Curtis strip scene. Like, if you know nothing from that movie, you know that part.
I don't know
Dude, but
anything about that movie. What the fuck?
It's on Hulu right now.
It's on Hulu? Sweet, I have Hulu. I have everything.
I don't like Hulu, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. All right. Anything else that we should comment about Batman Return that you guys want to bring up?
I have something to bring up.
Sure, please.
I had trivia at work last year, and I won a question because of this movie.
Yes.
It was the mistletoe scene. Because they're just like, oh, this plant is deadly. And I was like, mistletoe, because that's like what Batman said, the Catwoman. Or
The
vice
kids
versa.
speak deadlier.
I have another thing I want to bring up in our small complaint. When she gives the cat milk, she said, here goes your dinner. Cats shouldn't just have milk. Not good
No.
for them.
Warm
They
milk.
cannot digest it.
No, so don't give them milk. Give them water. I mean, I give my cats milk once in a great while. Mainly it's for the dog, and the cats will look at it and go, okay. And then they'll walk away, and the dog will, oh, thanks.
I think that's like a part of like these characters exist in the comics, but Tim Burton and the writers looked at them as on the surface stereotypes where it's like, oh, it's a Catwoman. They're going to make cat puns and she's going to like lick her hand and clean herself, even though it's just,
Bother me.
yeah. Because it's just like, oh, she's a Catwoman. Like, what's her deal? It's like, well, she's a really smart jewel thief who kind of rides the thing. It's like, nah, she's just a literal cat-woman.
And we would never get the likes of it again until Halle Berry.
No, that is cat-woman.
Never seen that movie.
If we ever do that movie, we have to watch the interview with Oprah where Halle Berry goes in full outfit pretending to be Catwoman.
Oh, okay. That could be interesting. That could be more interesting than the movie. So, no, I mean, I do like things about this movie. It just, I just wasn't entertained enough. That's really what I got to say about this. Oh, anything else, Ken, that you want to mention that we haven't touched on yet?
Gosh, there's like so much going on in this movie. I feel like we would need to talk for a lot longer than we already have. But at the same time, I also feel like if we talk for any longer, we're all going to go insane.
Very true.
So I'm just going to say no, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other stuff to add, but I can't really think of much I want to say.
I have one thing that I love to add about this movie.
Please do.
This movie introduces the most famous Batman gimmick that I love between Batman and Catwoman, which is fuck fighting, where they fight on the rooftop and then suddenly someone's not wearing their chest part and then they start having sex on the rooftop, which is pronounced by the scene where Catwoman's on top of Batman and they're talking and she licks his face, and I look over at my partner who decided to finally watch a Batman movie with me and I go, is that why I'm into that? And he's like, yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
Oh, the part when she stabs him, I really thought she was going for his dick. I really thought that's like, oh, that's where this movie's going. And another thing that's only for like the I Watch Entire Blood Replay group, there's one of our members, Travis something, his profile picture for years has been Batman's really ugly, dumb-looking face, which is from this movie. I didn't know that. Like, I knew it was Michael Keaton, but I didn't realize it's actually a pause scene from this movie.
Oh, you mean where Michael Keaton kills a man? Yeah.
He kills a few people in this movie.
He kills like 3 people.
Yeah,
minimum.
he specifically blows somebody up with a bomb, though.
That's a scene.
Okay. Yeah, it's I mean, was Batman not a killer at this time? Like they just or just Tim Burton just didn't give a shit, I guess.
I don't think anyone's ever given a shit.
I give a shit. I don't make movies, so.
I mean, the people that direct the movies, I don't think they've ever given a shit. Like I said, the best one is like, what is it? Batman vs. Superman, where I think at one point he says he doesn't kill, but he grabs a guy and he makes the guy grab his gun and he shoots like 5 people but that doesn't count because he didn't physically do it.
So it's the whole like manslaughter argument in Batman Begins, where it's like I don't have to save you. Like if I don't save you and you die anyway, it's not my fault.
We're never gonna get that.
I don't like
Like
that logic.
The catalyst for Aquaman, like there wouldn't be a movie if he just like hauled the people out of the submarine. Like there wouldn't be a Black Manta.
I liked that movie when I saw it.
The movie gave me a headache, and I love Aquaman.
I do too. I found an Aquaman fan. I didn't know you were an Aquaman fan, Blair.
Yeah, Aquaman is great.
Thank you.
Like, screw Namor and his dumb little wing booties. Looks ridiculous. Aquaman rules.
Hey! You leave Namor alone. That's the first. That's the first like cool superhero us Hispanics have gotten like a long time.
You got Miles Morales. He's Puerto Rican, but
Yeah, he's mixed though. But that.
Puerto Rican
yeah.
Black. I can't think of any else, but I also don't really pay attention to superheroes as much,
Man,
except for old ones.
So cool, man. I can't believe we have both the Aquaman fans in the world on this podcast.
Hey, I have made two podcast episodes about Aquaman on this podcast.
Jeff Johns, where are you?
So a long time ago, there's an Aquaman game for Xbox that I bought for $2 that I still have yet to play.
You're asking me if I know if there's yes, I own 2 copies. I own the GameCube version and the Xbox version. Because one is just called Aquaman, the other is called Aquaman Battle for Atlantis for some reason.
Is it the same game?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And Tommy Tallarico does the music.
All right, I think we should wrap this up now that we're talking about Aquaman and we have nowhere else to go. I'm pretty sure about Batman at this point.
Other than this is one of Doug Jones's first movies. He is one of the clowns.
It is.
Oh, okay. So Ken, how much do you fucking hate Aquaman? Because I should fucking.
Look, man, I talk to fish too, but it's when I'm eating sushi, so like I'm the wrong person to ask.
I don't know why I like Aquaman. I got nothing.
Because he's awesome.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, that Throne of Atlantis arc is pretty good. I need to watch that movie one day.
New 52, with the trench, like up until when Jeff Johns left. Like I love that book. It was like my favorite thing to buy every month.
That's the episode I did on that arc, was on the trench arc. We did an episode on that a long time ago with a completely different cast. Okay. All right, we should go to Self Stacker Box if we have completely went on a whole different tangent.
Derailed.
Completely. And I'll go first. I'm going to put this movie in the box. I was excited to watch this after 89. I was really looking forward to this. I wanted this to win. I voted for it. And I left very upset. I wasn't happy with the movie I saw. I wasn't happy with how this movie was. I didn't like the villains. I just didn't enjoy the film. That kind of bummed me out because I was looking forward to it. I was excited to see this movie with a different light, and I was really let down by Batman Returns. It is not a movie made for me. I mean, I've said this on the show. I'm going to say it again. I'm not a Tim Burton fan, and this movie really striked home that I'm not a Tim Burton fan. So I was a little sad. All right. And what about you, Ken?
Oh, this is shelf for me all day, every day. Like, this movie is absolutely ridiculous. It is just so over the top. Like, Christopher Walken is the most sane thing you have going on in this movie. That's how intense this movie is. Okay, you'll have to forgive me. I apologize for this, but movies like this are my catnip.
That was good. That was
I
good.
didn't want to say it, but I had to.
Hey, I'm okay with it. That was amusing.
I'm not, but go off.
What about you, Joe?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm also agree with Ken. This is 100% going on my shelf. Get like one drink in, see how you're feeling, and then do a shot every time Danny DeVito does something gross. And you'll probably die by the end of the movie, so that's always fun.
I don't think I would need to do a shot. I think I would just need to do what I did when I recorded Child of the Tomb Raider, where I drank 2 glasses of Bacardi juice that was apparently mostly Bacardi that my wife made for me. I think I would enjoy the movie a lot more than.
Oh yeah, throughout this movie, my husband told me I drank a total of like 15 shots, so I was not okay by the end of this movie.
That's the way to watch this film. It's just drunk off your ass.
Yeah, it's fucking funny. It's
high.
even not
entertaining too.
Even not drunk. Like I was because I blacked out like halfway through this movie, so I had to start from the halfway point. But what was it? I still had a lot of fun even when I was sober. I just love Danny DeVito being an absolute fucking goblin. So yeah, shelf totally.
And what about you, Blair?
Oh, this is Warner Brothers cardboard DVD where you can't tell which side is full screen and widescreen on the shelf. I go back and forth on this movie, but I was going back and forth on this movie for years, but now I just completely adore it. Like, I love the interaction between the three characters. A lot of stuff with Catwoman is really cool. Like, it's not exactly what I want out of a Batman sequel or even with these characters, but I love what's put on the screen. Of course, a lot of that is because I had a lot of the toys and even had the stupid little penguins with the missile launchers because I had to have them. Yeah, and I enjoy watching this movie every year, and I'll probably watch it again next year and the year after that. Like, I can't get enough Michael Keaton Batman in my life.
I do want to say that, like we kind of mentioned earlier, because of me watching these two Batman movies, I am really bummed that we don't get that. The whole Michael Keaton thing that we were going to get with Batgirl and all that is just gone. That does upset me now because he does a fine job.
I think that Batman Beyond one that just recently came out hurt the most because I would love to have a Batman Beyond movie.
I know.
Same.
I wanted like a video game like that deserves so much more than. I mean, the show is great, but like there should be an awesome. Like, I hate open world games, but I would play the shit out of an open world Batman Beyond game just to get in that Batmobile and then jump out of it and fly around and then like use the invisibility suit. Like, oh my god, like it just makes itself.
I'm hoping.
Hey, how about a 64 game where it's like a beat 'em up with Batman Beyond?
Get out of here.
I haven't played it yet, but I do want to.
Oh, I own it on PlayStation, N64, and Game Boy Color. So
I'm hoping with Suicide Squad hopefully being kind of a hit, they will end up deciding to make a Batman Beyond game, especially because they can totally just rip off the invisibility segment from Spider-Man Miles Morales. So I'd be fine with that.
but I mean,
that'd be cool.
again, the bummer is that like you don't have that ingredients.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll figure something out.
I agree. We'll get. But I mean, I actually before we started this podcast, like I had no not this episode, but I mean the show in general. I didn't care for Batman Beyond. Ken had actually turned me on to Batman Beyond and got me more interested in it after watching that movie that he recommended for the show a while ago. That was a hell of a good movie, actually. Return of the Joker. I think that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and I do want to ask while we're on the air, what's the next Batman thing you guys want us to cover? My Batman fans, the three that are listening to me right now that can actually talk back to me.
Forever.
Wait.
I would almost say Batman Forever, but I also want to do the Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Super Nintendo because that game is incredible.
I do want to do that too now.
Okay, I know what I'm going to say.
What is that?
I want to do Bad Blood. I want to get it over with.
I also want to do Bad Blood because I have something that's going to piss both of you off.
I want to do Bad Blood too because I just want to see it.
I want it done.
There's still Hush though.
Less I talk about Damien, the better I'm going to feel.
Well, Hush isn't part of that trilogy, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we can do Bad Blood first.
Okay. That sounds good. And Blair, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter because apparently it hasn't exploded yet.
I'm
at
surprised.
Arcade. You can read my work at comicbookvideogames.com, where you can find reviews for Batman Returns on Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Nintendo. I think I'd reevaluate the Genesis one because I don't think I was very fair to it. More recently, I reviewed Marvel's Iron Man VR and MetaQuest 2, and it is absolutely incredible. And I interviewed Chris Sutherland from Playtonic about The Amazing Spider-Man on Game Boy, and that's some stuff that I really want to plug.
Okay. I'm just going to name a few things of Batman because I don't want to do everything anymore. Batman vs. Robin, film 44. Batman 89, film 43. Son of Batman, film 38. The Batman, film 35. So there's some Batman movies for you to listen to us talk about. And if you want to hear some better Batman movies, Batman Under the Red Hood, film 28. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, film 23, we mentioned earlier. And there's a bunch of other Batman stuff. I just don't feel like going through it anymore. So there's other Batman stuff for you to go check out. And there will be more because apparently they have voted and I will be doing Bad Blood at some point. Probably soon just to get over with. And then I do want to do Forever. Because at this point, I just want to do all four of this little series and it ends. So, yeah.
We should also do that Super Nintendo game, though, because that is super good.
I do want to also. I want to cover. I mean, I don't think there's much to talk about with both. So let's do a mini about both of them, I think, is the plan at some point. Because I'm going to cheat both of them. They shouldn't take too long to play through.
Oh, don't put the jukebox in the ride for Adventures of Batman and Robin on Super Nintendo for me if you wanted to be a mini.
It's because I call it a mini doesn't mean it has to be a mini. It just means it doesn't have to be. It means it doesn't count as a numbered episode. I don't have to fill and plan years and that's all.
Yeah.
It's a different part of this. One of my issues with the show. All right, and if you enjoyed this episode, go check out our over 400 other episodes of this show that we have done. And there's other Batman stuff. There's even more Batman stuff than I mentioned. We do comics, movies, TV seasons. Go check out our giant catalog. Also want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena. You can follow her at Health Hath Fury on TikTok. And also want to mention that this was a Patreon brought to you episode. People voted for this. We do have a Patreon poll right now, which is Mike's Christmas gift. You get to pick if we're going to watch Spider-Man 2002, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, or Eternals, because those are the four things. Those are some of the things I need to cover before I want to cover Spider-Man No Way Home, which is coming up with one of my Marvel movies. So you need to cover a bunch of other shit too. So you get to help me choose a decision that I didn't want to make. So that's what the current poll is. If you want to talk with us, we do have a Discord. You can join our Discord and talk with us. You'll see a link in the show notes. And funny thing, your earlier comment about Twitter, actually my link for the podcast doesn't work on Twitter for some reason. Under my bio.
I love how the Eternals has 0 votes right now.
Yeah, that's because it's the Eternals. Nobody wants to do it.
You got to get that Band-Aid off, though.
No.
Yeah, at some point. But I have enough other stuff to do that it's no problem. Nobody wants to hear me do Eternals. I don't even want to hear myself do Eternals. I don't even want to rewatch Eternals.
Have a drink or two.
All right. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who did the MC movies with me. And will be doing Eternals with me when I cover that because, yeah, I don't know why, but he will be. So that's stuff you get to look forward to. Definitely check out his podcast, Gamer Looks at 40. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube with audio only. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
So long.
Yawn.